I mean, I'm not in the government.
Aren't you?
But the government's in you.
I don't think so.
See, that's something that someone in the government would say. I'm not in the government.
Right before they kill you with a candlestick.
Hey, I'm Joe.
I'm Ken.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Dan.
We're the Rewinders podcast, rewinding and rebooting movies to see if they hold up. And this time, we flipped a few cards to see what movie we'd watch, and it ended up being a movie in the living room on the TV, and it was Clue. That kind of worked.
That worked.
Wait,
I like it.
Wait, we watched Clue?
What?
What did you end up watching?
I watched
Yes.
Clueless. I thought we were talking about a Clueless remake.
Oh God.
No.
Oh my god.
Well, you can make your comments about Clueless while we talk about Clue.
It's not even the same movie.
It'll fold right in.
It would have. Oh,
You know, that classic 80s movie, Clueless.
Oh my god. I got really excited because Paul Rudd, and then all of a sudden, boom. You hit me with the fact that I watched the wrong damn thing.
Paul Rudd. Maybe I should watch that movie.
Maybe you should.
You weren't as excited about a movie with Tim Curry.
I was going to ask you
Lloyd,
guys because I kept waiting
Michael
for
McKean.
Tim Curry to show up, and he never did. It had Wallace Shawn.
When is this Butler?
It
gonna
had
get
Wallace
here?
Shawn, so I thought you guys were tricking me. I don't know.
I don't know if he's honest or if he's just playing the gag.
He's playing the game.
That's what I'm thinking. But I can't trust a damn thing that this boy says.
I say that we just keep going, and as long as he can keep it up, we'll keep it up.
All right, I'm a little bit scared about this, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Like Christopher Lloyd stopped at the foot of a hill, explaining why a car isn't moving. We'll make this work.
So the trailer, I liked it.
Did we watch a trailer?
Oh,
Well,
Was there a trailer?
I watched the trailer that was on Prime
I enjoyed the trailer.
I don't know if I sent one.
because they have a little trailer button that you can watch.
Ah, okay. I forgot that we're supposed to watch a trailer.
That was my bad. It's a holiday
It's
week.
the
I got screwed up.
holiday
I didn't send a
weekend.
trailer to everybody.
It's quite all right. The trailer was great. It provided all the things that you needed to know to go into this movie.
I enjoyed the tagline the most.
All right.
What was that?
Remind me again what the tagline was.
It's not a game anymore or something like that. Fuck, I should have wrote it down. Now I have to look it up.
That's fine.
and
It's
you don't-
exactly
You called
what
out,
it
and
is.
I knew it the minute that I said it that you guys were going to ask me what it was.
No, that's perfect. That's exactly what it is. That's a wonderful tagline.
Yeah.
I actually really do like that.
Yeah, it's not just a game anymore.
Just like this movie.
No, yeah, it's very suiting.
Yeah.
7 suspects, 6 weapons, 5 bodies, 3 endings. Ugh.
Oh, geez. Just give away the movie.
Murder, madness, mystery, and mayhem. More fun than you can imagine.
Well, I don't know. I could imagine some more fun.
Could you?
Possibly.
Sure, there could be more fun. There was plenty of time left in there. They could have gotten rid of one of the endings and done some more
What?
fun, but
I mean, that we'll hold on to that thought.
comedy happens in threes. You got to do it that way.
It seems like we have to compare the two, just to kind of get this out there. You guys say you really enjoy the tagline for this film of, it's not a game anymore. How do you feel about the tagline for the Battleship film? The battle for Earth begins at sea.
They should have just kept the same tagline.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty incredible, I'm not going to lie.
It's not a game anymore.
Every board game movie, Jumanji, it's not just a game anymore. But Jumanji wasn't a board game before the movie.
Right. Well, it's the great part about doing it that way is then you have the
Marketing.
like the Marvel movies start off where they all start off with the same comic book flipping, even though those movies have nothing to do with the one you're currently watching, apart from the fact that they kind of exist in the same universe most of the time. You got the same tagline, so it's like the same tagline universe. I like this.
All board game movies exist in the same existence.
Yeah, every single one of them.
Even if they're not real board games, like Xanax or whatever that.
Zathura?
Zurich.
Zathura.
Zaboomafoo. Zaboomafoo.
Zaboomafoo's not a board game. Though I would give it a shot if it
How many
was.
other games were there? I'm sure there's more game movies, like that one with the... Oh, no, that's Jumanji again.
Just keep coming back to that one.
Right, there was a second one. That's the one I came back to.
There will be a
And
third.
then the third one?
There will be a third.
So many rebooting.
I shit you not, apparently there's a Ouija.
Yeah, there's Ouija. I mean,
There are two.
It's a horror movie. That was a fun movie. I enjoyed it.
Then there's that one horror movie about video games that kill you when you play
That's Jumanji.
No, it's a video game, and it's not Jumanji, and it's a terrible horror film. I have to find it, because that would be a good one for us to
Like
watch.
a spin-off
Wow,
of
this
Ringu?
is very
Lawnmower Man?
Lawnmower Man. No.
Yes.
This is a very niche category. The entire list of board game films is 7. You got Battleship, Clue, Damnatus, Ouija, Ouija House, Ouija Origin of Evil. There's 3 Ouija movies.
Good lord.
Jesus.
And then
I didn't think it was that good.
and then an Ultramarines, a Warhammer 40K movie.
What?
What? That doesn't count as a... That's not a board game. What?
Technically.
Dan, how are you going to play Warhammer without a 4x8 board?
It's a table. That's not a board.
It is a board table.
So does anyone have history with this board game movie?
Not this movie, but if you've ever seen Murder by Death with Columbo, there's quite the similarities.
Dan, I thought you were the youngest of us. What are
I
you doing
am.
watching Columbo?
I don't know, man. Like, retro television is awesome.
Not to mention Columbo. Columbo is awesome.
Here, I'll find the trailer for Murder by Death.
He likes it, ironically. So, history, I played the game a lot as a kid, and then I was told I need to watch this movie, and then when I was sometime in my 20s, I watched it, and I was like, holy crap, it's so much going on, it's great.
I think I was in my mid-teens when I watched this. It was one of those films that my parents knew about and loved, and they introduced it to me.
Good parents.
This was my Tim Curry baseline movie, so
Oh,
it's been a fun ride learning about the rest of his career after this, but this was always kind of what I thought of when I thought of Tim Curry, because the movie Legend happened the same year, and I never put the two pieces together that he was the demon in Legend as well.
Yeah, I
Spoilers.
didn't know that till this year, actually. I never watched Legend. I never got around to it. And I always see the prosthetics for that character, and I finally looked into it. I was like, whoa, Tim Curry? Okay, so now it kind of convinces me to go and watch it. I just don't like Tom Cruise.
Oh, yeah, well, you're fine
Well,
with
I
that.
mean, yeah, you're
There's nothing wrong with that.
fair.
I haven't bothered going to look for Legend. I know nothing about it apart from Tom Cruise is in it, and now Tim Curry is a devil.
When I watch this again, it gives me the impression that I may have been learning how to do certain like acting from Tim Curry, from his performance in this movie, because he has a very specific, serious, melodramatic, humorous style. I mean, he spans all three in one go.
He's a very big actor, too, so it would be very good for replicating something like that on stage. He's so good.
That's what I remember, is just loving the Tim Curry character. And basically that's why I would watch the movie over and over again, is just because of his energy and how funny he was in the movie. Didn't give anyone else a chance, apparently.
No?
I don't know. They were okay.
Points for later in the discussion.
Well, let's have that later discussion. What did you like about the movie? Or do you want
Tim
to, do you want
Curry.
to flip the script and start with what you didn't like?
Oh no! Always we gotta get the good out before we can hammer the bad.
Okay.
Because if we hammer the bad first, I'm gonna be in a bad mood.
Oh, man. There's so much good in this movie.
Well, Dan, kick us off with the good stuff.
We've been discussing it. Like, I miss Tim Curry. Like,
He's still
this
with
was
us.
such a
He's
good...
still alive.
Didn't he pass away?
No.
I mean, no, he's in a wheelchair and in really bad
I
shape,
could have
but he's still
sworn he
alive.
died.
No. This is where you need to Google, because I'm pretty sure he's not dead.
I Googled this not too long ago. He's still alive and in a wheelchair.
Didn't he just get, like, really sick, though, or something?
Yeah, he's just not been doing too
he's
great.
not in good shape.
Okay, I thought he had passed from that.
It still makes me sad.
Well, thanks, Dan, for bringing us all down, talking
Well,
about...
I could have sworn... Well, fuck, there's a whole Mandela effect, like, thing about
Yeah,
it.
Stroke.
Well, here's what I like.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll skip over that note. I've ruined it. I'm sorry. Oh God, you guys would have to watch Murder by Death, but the opening for this movie is, I wouldn't say shot for shot, but pretty damn close, because Murder by Death is about a murder mystery. It's like a murder mystery party. So I don't know if Murder by Death was like based on Clue.
It all comes full circle.
When was Clue released?
This movie, 1985.
Not the movie, the board game.
Before 1985. I gotta say, I really like about the movie how, like, this is probably the only movie that I love that, like, I guess there's only 7 board game movies out there. And, anyways, it follows so closely to the game itself. And it kind of feels forced and all that fun stuff, but it's still so much fun. And I don't know. I kind of enjoyed that.
I did too.
The pseudonyms, the Ms. Peacock, Mr. Green, Colonel Mustard, they had all that stuff. They brought in the weapons, which still feels like the weakest part of the movie to me, but it works. And all the different rooms that you can go to and the secret passageways. Like, I guess it's not that heavy of a game. Or even the envelope that you have to open to reveal who did what. And it brings in all the game mechanics, and it does it in a fun way and builds a story out of that. And most of the times when you do that, it doesn't work. But here they had a really well-written script with a lot of witty banter, a lot of really fast talking, so much fast talking, and that is why it does really well. And also, I gotta say, that fast talking, I enjoy the fast talking. The fast talking in this movie is what I will point to whenever I say that improv needs to be limited in movies, because this is what you can have when you have a well-executed script that people think about and sit down and comb over and brush and not improv and point out every single joke. It is just very well sculpted, and that it works so well. And I enjoy those kind of movies where it's well written and fun. The improv doesn't necessarily do that for me too much.
Well, I'm sorry that improv doesn't do it for you.
Improv form does, but improv in movie form, a la like the new Ghostbusters and a lot of quote unquote comedy movies coming out these days, they just lean too far into the let's just have them do what they do on screen and we'll put that on there, instead of actually having like a writer coming up with actual jokes.
There's an issue with that because you had these people in their prime, and I'm not just talking about Clue, I'm talking about 80s and 90s movies. You have roles specifically designed around characters, and to the point where you had some actors where it just said, have them be themselves for blah, blah, blah shot, or blah, blah, blah minutes. It's just like, they knew damn well who they were putting into these films and how it was going to pan out. Whereas, I feel like you're right, they keep trying to replicate that nowadays, with just, let the camera roll and we'll just put whatever the hell we feel like in, but it doesn't hold up because it's not meant to be that. You have to have a good fine-tuned script for that to work. And like you said, this movie, it's nonstop perfect pacing until I'd argue the last three or the triple endings at the end. Everything up to that point was so expertly timed and so expertly done. You're right. This is one of my favorite movies in terms of just watching the script fly at the screen for the hour and a half, whatever it is.
Hour and 19 minutes.
See, I had a problem. My problem is that I saw Murder by Death first, and I feel like even though Murder by Death wasn't a Clue movie, it did Clue better.
How dare you?
You have Tim Curry.
No, but you had Columbo and, God, what was the rest of the cast?
Again, you come with wild accusations and no evidence.
Eileen Brennan, Truman Capote, James Coco, Peter Falk, Alec Guinness, Eliza Lanchester, or Elsa Lanchester.
I know.
Okay,
David
Neven, I give you
Peter
Alec
Sellers, Maggie Smith, Nancy Walker, Estelle Winward.
Jesus.
Man, they must have killed a lot of people in that episode.
Oh yeah, Dan? Well, we had Madeline Kahn.
Yeah. And Martin Mull.
And Christopher Lloyd. And Michael McKean.
Okay.
And Martin Mull. Yeah, how can I forget?
I'll give you that.
Oh, I was going to make the correlation between the movies that we've already done so far. Did you guys realize that? Okay, so you guys made the point that the Joan d'Arc in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was in the Go-Go's, right? She is also in this movie. She is the singing telegram lady.
Yep.
I had no freaking clue.
That is so good.
It's just kind of fun. It's kind of fun that every time we do a movie, there's some sort of crossover with characters. We just watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and Michael McKean was in that as a Wisconsin State Trooper. and now he's in this movie as well. So I like when that happens. It makes me feel giddy.
Oh, there'll be plenty of that.
Like we didn't intentionally do that either, which is...
No.
No, it's just fun when it happens. But Madeline Kahn, I chuckled through the movie and I was really excited to see her in this, and then I was like, oh man, how come I haven't seen her in more things? And then I didn't realize she died. Back in 1999, I think. Ovarian cancer. Rest in peace. You brought me many laughs from Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein.
Indeed. He apparently was also in the Muppet movie from '79.
Oh yeah.
I wrote down a lot of I wrote down people, what roles they played, and what other movies they were in, because I was like, this is an impressive cast.
It really is, and I feel like that's why it works so well.
I also like that it is very well developed into the time period. It has the automobiles, it has like the fancy mansion, and the costuming. But at the same time, as serious as all that makes you feel, then they start doing dog poop jokes and very over-the-top situations that also just slap you back down from the seriousness.
There's a lot of adult humor in this movie. Like, a lot of adult humor.
There's a lot of adults in this movie.
And
it deals with murder.
I don't know. I just went in thinking that this was going to be like a family film.
No.
And they kick it off with barking dogs and stepping in dog poop, and that's it starts off and you're like, oh, maybe this is going to be a kid's movie, and then no.
I watched it as a kid a lot.
And yeah, it'd be fine.
My kid watched it.
They're talking so fast, you probably won't.
They don't
catch
swear.
it as a kid.
No, they don't.
Do they
There's
not? They should.
Not really any violence in it.
No, I think the only thing it's got a lot of cleavage.
Yeah.
A lot of cleavage.
It's got a shelf of cleavage.
Mm-hmm.
That all the men decide to gander at. Almost all men.
And the women.
Well, I mean, it's right there.
It's, hard to miss. Hard to miss, and it's very bouncy. But anyway.
Yeah, anyway. I don't know, my favorite quote in the entire film is in the beginning, like I was saying, with Christopher Lloyd in the car at the foot of the hill. I love it when she asks, why is the car stopped? And he responds, it's frightened. I gut laugh every time I hear that.
It's so good. That's such a great line.
It is.
I like I choose to expose myself. Please, there are women present.
Yes, that was a good one too.
It's a good throwaway.
Or are you trying to make me look foolish in front of the other guests? You don't need any help from me, sir. That's right. There's a lot of good banter in this.
It's the dryness of the humor. And that could be a problem for people, not for me. I enjoyed how pointed the jokes were, because if you weren't paying attention, you were going to miss them.
Yeah, for sure. This is not a movie that you watch while scrolling on a phone.
No.
At least not the first few times.
Well, you can watch it up till the last, 20 minutes. 25 minutes.
No, you could, because the ending basically summarizes the entirety of the movie.
Yep.
But it's not as fun if you didn't just watch it and see them zip through it.
Right.
Maybe one time.
It's like most jokes. Most jokes, if you hear the punchline, you're like, okay, I get that. And it's the setup that makes the joke a little bit more funny.
Yeah. No one goes out there just saying punchlines like this.
They should.
Here's a joke. The Pope. Ah!
That was good.
But that was a full joke.
Very good.
It doesn't work.
It worked, though. That's the problem.
I'm pretty sure I topped out on that one.
Except for the fact that there was a whole setup to the joke, and
Damn it.
the joke, it helped. Meta jokes.
Gotta love the meta.
I also like that this movie assists you to test its own boundaries of what is able to be done. For instance, Mr. Body says, well, I'm just going to get out of here. And they're like, no, you can't. Lock the doors. Oh, I'm going to go out these windows. Oh, there's a big angry dog out there. It's going to eat you alive. Nope, you're stuck. I mean, they walk you through the process that if you are one of those jerks that sit there and go, well, if he would have just opened a window and crawled out, they would have got away. Nope, they cover all those bases.
There was a Doberman there, and it was angry.
The
angry Doberman.
And unfortunately, they had to do that because that is very confusing to me when I'm watching this movie. It's like, okay, So he shows up knowing that he's being brought there to be exposed. And then he gets all up in arms about being brought there to be exposed and tries to leave, and he can't leave. And then, so for some reason, he brings out weapons. It's like, it seems to be two different types of
Thought processes
thinking going on there. Yeah. Or maybe even three, but no, there's showing up in the weapons. That makes sense. Trying to leave was a little bit of a weird thing, but yeah, it does keep people from saying what you were saying there, Joe.
I mean, does it fully make sense like you're saying? Maybe not. But I mean, I think they did explain that Mr. Body wasn't the main dude. Mr. Body was just put in the position of the host, and he's not really the
Body
host.
was a patsy.
They played with who was actually the big schemer, which I think it was Wadsworth. Spoilers.
In the third ending, it was Wadsworth. The one that they said, this is what really happened.
Well, they said that's what really happened, so... Ta-da.
It's always
so
the
it would
butler.
Be Wadsworth.
Always.
And every time I watch this movie, I intend on paying attention to who's all in what scene, but I can't do it.
There is one section that I thought that the editing ruined one of the possible endings, and it was when not Mr. Mustard, Colonel Mustard separates from the lady that he was searching the first floor with. So he separates from her. She inspects a window, and then the next scene,
Scarlet.
yeah, and the next scene they're back together again. So he only leaves for part of a scene, and I was like, oh, if they would have just thrown another pair in between there, it would have made Colonel Mustard escaping to do a murder in another room more plausible. But, it wasn't too bad, I guess.
Yeah. And most of the problems I have with it are just super minor things. And I think maybe they're playing off for a joke that maybe didn't come through properly or something. I don't know. But not all jokes are verbal. I like the... there's the dog poop stepping in. Yeah, we already covered that. However, for segue purposes, the matchsticks. I really enjoy the matchsticks. When they're cutting up the matchsticks and they're quite obviously different sizes. And at the end of that scene, you got Christopher Lloyd going around and matching up his tiny little matchstick to the giant one, holding it up right next to it, being like, is it the same size? It's just silly.
Well, good.
And it makes me laugh.
It achieved what it was supposed to do then.
Yeah. It's like, clearly they're not the right size. He didn't need to hold it up like that, but he did.
I also like that by the time the maid is murdered, no one is shocked anymore. No one's scared. They just walk in the room, see her, and then turn and walk out.
That's another dead body. Okay.
I really enjoyed that too. And yeah, it comes at a good time because the movie's almost over at that point. And it's like, all right, let's just get this over with.
This is the case of a movie being as long as it needs to be and no longer. In my opinion, I actually think it could be slightly shorter, but there must be, a standard length that they have to reach.
Yeah.
And actually, I agree with you, and I think that might be why they had the 3 endings come in. I have no idea, but it feels like they're like, well, we can't really add anything else to the body of the movie. Let's just tack some stuff at the end.
Which I know
I'm probably
some
wrong.
Of you, someone here at least said that they weren't exactly into the end, how it happened sequences. That is one of my favorite parts of the movie because the chops it takes to run sequences like that as an actor are immense because he's saying so much so fast running. Now, granted, it's a movie.
See, I liked the running to a point. The fact that they do it twice was unnecessary.
All the running was unnecessary.
Got a point.
Well, yeah.
Did they need to go to the kitchen? No, but it was a way to play the franticness of the movie. It kept the energy and the franticness going.
Yeah. It's there's a show that I did, it might have been 2 years ago now, The Complete Works of William Shakespeare Abridged. And that's how that show ends too. They're like, well, let's do the whole show, but double the speed. And all you do is basically run around doing the exact same show, but faster, a lot faster. And then you do it in reverse. And that kind of stuff it's a lot of fun because it's a lot of hard work to get down. That probably plays into why I like the sequence. But I've always liked the sequence. Since being a kid, I thought it was a lot of fun. So
For
Dan,
sure.
you're wrong.
Okay. We could have
Dan,
we
you
can
gotta
have our
fight
different
back.
opinions.
Tell me why I'm wrong.
No, because you have childhood memories attached to this. I watched this yesterday, first time, so I have no attachment, so I can't defend anything
You can have unattached
fairly.
detachment.
See, Dan, it's your job then to provide the non-nostalgia viewpoint of
And
this movie.
I have like that frantic running around is funny the first time,
Gotcha.
and that's about it.
Let me help you out here, Dan. Joe, you're wrong. You're just feeling nostalgia.
How dare I be wrong? Wait a minute, this doesn't work when I'm talking at myself. No, Dan, you're wrong. Wait,
Hey.
no, this isn't working because
man.
neither of us are really sticking up for it. So.
No, the running in the ending sequence does kind of get to be a bit old and exhausting. And actually, I think a lot of the witty banter, the talking and jokes and stuff is probably what makes the movie feel like it goes a lot longer than it does. It felt like a really long movie to me. An hour 19 isn't really all that long.
mean, an hour, almost 2 hours.
This is almost Chopping Mall
hour
length,
19.
but Chopping Mall seems so short comparatively to
Math is
this.
hard.
Well, my comments on the length of the movie are in I put it in the bad category. So I don't know if I should just go forward with that or not.
Well, do we have any other things that we liked about this movie? We liked the
end credit
cast.
sequence.
We liked the end credit sequence. We liked Tim Curry.
Mr. Rothy,
He's been surprisingly silent.
He's sneaking up
Yep.
behind us to do attack.
I was wondering how he felt about the soundtrack.
With a beep, 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 beep. Like the crazy intro music is all I can think about when I think of the music, except for the end credit song, which is also very fun. Everything else is kind of like, I don't remember any music.
It's forgettable filler.
Yeah, I like the music in this movie. I do not like the music in Blade Strings.
I can't tell if that's all you said or if your connection cut out.
I think his connection cut out.
Why? What'd you guys hear?
I like the music.
I like the music, is what I heard.
Oh yeah, I do not like the music in planes, trains, and automobiles. That's for sure.
We're like, yeah, the music in this movie. You got the intro song, you got the extra song, and then you have the song that when the cop is being shown around the house, and he says, "There's nothing wrong with that, or nothing illegal with that. Just a bunch of consulting adults having fun."
Consensual, not consulting.
Consenting?
Sorry,
Got a bunch of
consensual.
consultants here making
Holy
out.
shit.
They're government workers. That's all they do. They consult.
It is a good point, though. They did manage
Consenting.
to weave all the characters together fairly well without being too over the top.
Yeah, it definitely toes that over the top line enough to be like, this could be over the top, but doesn't go over the line and be like, yeah, we're over the top, now what?
What you gonna do?
Stop watching?
Huh? Huh?
Huh? Huh?
Please don't. Please keep watching. All right, let's go to the bads.
Nothing. Perfect movie. Done.
Wow.
Just kidding. I already said it. It felt a little long to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why
that's
this
a big
movie
one.
feels long.
I agree. It feels a little long in the tooth around the 3/4 mark, maybe halfway. I don't understand.
I had the same feeling that the how it happened should be like 10 minutes sooner, maybe 15, and then the flow would have happens much better and something like that.
I think it's right around the time where they split up, and then it kind of slows the movie down where they have to follow the 4 different groups. Is it 4? Yeah. 4 different groups around into things, sneaking, being scared, sneaking around. And rightfully so. You are in a house, possibly with a murderer with a second person. You got wonderful playing off of like them not wanting to be the first one up the stairs because that's how you die. But it feels long because you have the same scene over and over again 4 times.
Yeah, good point.
It kind of had to happen. I mean, they didn't have to have that scene apart from the fact that they got 3 more murders out of it and showed us the secret passages. Otherwise, there'd been no way to find those out. So it definitely had to happen for the story to continue to be propelled forward. It's not like they could have gotten rid of that.
The violence that is done in the movie is done in a Three Stooges-esque kind of manner, and that kind of annoys me because it only happens at these moments, and then the Three Stooges kind of stuff ends, so it's not throughout the movie. So therefore, those moments stick out a lot and make me like, that and the throwaway easy jokes. And I put easy in quotes because it's just, whatever is topical or something that's happening. That's just, joke. Joke.
They tried to keep it topical to 1940s at least.
54.
Or whenever this movie was going
made
on,
a
when
Hoover
FDR
joke.
was Hoover. That's it.
But that's okay.
Or not FDR. Who is it?
J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah. Oh
Why
yeah,
do you
that's
think
right.
they
Hoover
know
was
how to
the
clean things up so well?
FBI guy.
It's run by a man named Hoover.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
They still make vacuum
Yeah,
cleaners.
it's not the best joke of the movie, but it happens.
It's still better than some jokes I've heard in recent movies. Take that, recent movies. Step up
I
your
really
game.
hate movies.
Calling you
I
out.
really hate movies.
Really?
You're in the wrong podcast, bro.
And it's odd, because usually Dan's the one
confused.
that hates the movies.
I'm confused. I
this-
like this. I liked what we watched. Why are you yelling at me?
I don't hate this movie. This movie was entertaining. I
Here it
did
comes.
not leave my couch feeling like I wasted 2 hours.
But
But I feel like had this movie not had Tim Curry, it would have sucked. Tim Curry carried the entirety of this movie.
It's kind of
With
like
the
how Kurt
majority
Russell
of the
carried
other
all of Escape from New York.
Yeah, well, that's a shit movie to begin with, so...
Or how he carried the original Stargate.
oh, I think Dan left us. Dan's gone to another plane of existence.
And this has been the Rewinders. Come back to us next year.
When we retrieve Dan from the other planes.
Guys, it sucks here.
He's been banished to New York.
Riverdale
LA.
Riverdale.
It just makes me want to watch Escape from LA even more.
Oh, yeah. That's the good stuff.
Get that good old classic surfing
Bad
scene.
movie. I'll watch Kung
Cannot beat it. Cannot beat the surfing scene.
We watched a movie this
Does
week.
anyone have another bad thing to say about this movie?
The actor who played the guy who got called in later with the
Mr. Body?
not Mr. Body, the guy whose car broke down. When he's laying dead, you can see his eyes twitching.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
fun.
I think there's a scene where Martin Mull falls through a trap door and the wall behind it moves a little as he hits it.
I love that his car broke down means that he parked it on top of a rock.
Yeah, that's a hell of a breakdown.
I only ask because of the weird feeling that I got after I was done. That this is not a great movie, but it has very little for me to really knock it for. I mean, there's not a lot that I can call out and say this is bad or negative in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed. I think the movie does well enough. It's just not a massive smash.
There's not enough for us
Good,
to
but
get
it's
into
not.
nitpick corner.
It doesn't get past that good marker into like, well, now this is one of those 80s movies you absolutely have to watch. It just rests in it. It's a good movie.
And for what possibly could be some of our audience, I'm going to disagree with you. And also myself. I love this movie. I enjoy it.
You can totally enjoy it.
It is great.
I will be coming back. I will be coming back for repeat viewings. I love this movie every time I watch it.
Absolutely.
I probably will not. If I go back and watch anything like this, I will die on the hill that is Murder by Death.
Well, you could also go watch Escape from New York.
No, I won't.
Can I get by with just listening to that band?
Of course.
No. I mean,
Okay.
sure, but not comparing apples and oranges at all. That's like comparing an apple to an avocado.
Well, as long as there's whiskey in the world.
So, has the movie changed in anyone's opinion since when they first watched it? Like, their opinions of it has that changed? Oh my God, mouth, work with me here.
You did it, Joe. You
got
said
through it.
words.
Congratulations.
Are you having a Tim Curry over there?
Ooh. Ooh.
Too soon. I feel bad about that.
Do you? You should.
I actually feel awful.
We
I
love
love Tim Curry.
we love Tim Curry here. It's yeah.
It's hard for me because I
That's
grew
harsh.
up probably the most with Tim Curry with Congo as a kid.
Congo?
So legitimately this whole movie, like anytime I see Tim Curry on screen, I'm brought back to my youth and his horrible Russian accent in that film. Oh, it just brings back so much
Not
fondness.
eat my sesame cake.
Yes.
I'm used to seeing him as a butler in Home Alone 2, Escape from New York.
Did he have a repeat line in this movie that he used in Home Alone 2 as well? I'm pretty sure he said homicidal maniac in Home Alone 2, referring to Kevin McAllister's dad.
He's also in Hook. I believe.
No, that's my other favorite movie, which is Muppet's Treasure Island.
Yes.
there we
Fantastic film. Fantastic film. Probably my favorite Muppet movie outside of Muppet Christmas.
Nope, my favorite. But I'm not going to argue favorites of Muppets because there's definitely a reason they all exist.
Dan's favorite is The Muppets Take New York with Kurt Russell.
Muppets Take
With
Manhattan?
Kurt Russell.
No.
Oh,
No.
oh, that would be so
It
good.
really would be.
awful. So
So Kurt
man.
Russell gets put into
Awful.
New York. That's New York filled with Muppets, and they're all
Yes.
like,
Just Muppets.
Bunch of hobo Muppets sitting around burning barrels.
And instead of the zombie people, it's Camilla and her gang, the chickens.
I'm picturing like
Rabid-
Gonzo and a bunch of folks
rabid
chasing a
chickens.
rat trying to kill it.
Jason Rizzo?
Yes,
Oh, no.
exactly. Exactly.
all right, we've gotten off track. Off track. to
I
a
want
very
this
good
movie now.
track.
I want this movie.
Does Clue still hold up after all these years?
Yes.
I would say yes.
Yes.
I say yes as well. They do not have many pop culture references to the 80s. They play to a time period that is recognizable and that everything still kind of flows with expectations.
They could easily set it in a different time period and change, 3 jokes, and it'd be fine.
Yeah.
They could have made it Victorian and had it, instead of having cars, be carriages.
Or they could have put it in the future, and instead of having cars, they could have had flying cars and space swords
Wait.
instead of knives.
They just have to. I mean, there'd be jokes they'd have to change because it's a different time in the 1954s.
Yeah, and then they just have to change the title to Future Clue.
On the next episode of Mandalorian,
Oh no.
Wait a minute, I haven't seen that.
neither have I.
It's fine.
But speaking of Space Clue, how about rebooting this movie?
Well, they did in
I mean,
2014
What?
or 2004.
1976.
Talking about Dan.
What?
What you talking about, Dan?
Yeah, 2014. They rebooted it. Howard
Okay.
and it was a made-for-TV movie.
Not
Oh.
the same.
Oh.
Not
It
the
was-
same.
It was Clue, The Mystery Begins. Or no, Clue, a movie mystery adventure.
Yep.
A TV movie.
No, that doesn't count.
Okay. Well,
Well, they
here
they
you
are
go.
doing the full-on remake that's got Ryan Reynolds attached to it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
am
along with Deadpool writers
cautiously optimistic.
Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick. Just imagine if they made this into an actual adult movie.
I'm seeing
No,
Jason
I feel-
Bateman's going to direct it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see
He
that
was
one too,
on-
but that's from 2019.
Yeah, apparently he's gotten busy.
In February 2020 is Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, he got busy with something apparently and had to drop off.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd be a good director. I don't know what he's directed.
Then there's this one that says Muppets filmmaker James Bobbin in talks to direct 20th Century Clue remake starring Ryan Reynolds.
Wait a minute. Ryan Reynolds with Muppets doing a Clue movie?
Yeah.
it's a Muppets director,
I mean,
and I think that's for the new Muppets movie that just came out within the last 5 years.
No. I
it's
choose not to
clearly
believe
it says
that.
Clue.
I want to choose to believe that there's going to be a Muppet remake. Because that's what we always want
Of
on this
Clue.
podcast. We always want Muppet remakes.
We do, but we had the discussion about how the Muppets are a dead trope.
Not to me, Dan. Not to me.
I agree, but the greater
Mind you,
the greater general
I'm not
public
going to be able to.
has a better hide. Better hide. What am I trying to say? Better sway in things.
Yeah, they have the money. I don't have the money to be able to prop up an entire movie series.
Me either.
Oh well, such is life.
Now, is this movie one of those that is absolutely like, why are we remaking it? Or can we see there being a space for a remake of this movie?
Oh, like remaking Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
Yeah.
Just because?
Because they're looking for something to do and need money. The originals are already done so fucking well.
I have a hard time picturing a remake of this film because it does flow so well and because there really isn't anything to really
Change.
complain about.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just,
You would just be
I mean,
casting actors into already existing spaces.
exactly. And I think it's telling that the only reason that I'm like even remotely interested in a remake is because, ooh, Ryan Reynolds is attached. Like,
So it's going
that's,
to be
Yeah,
funny.
and you wonder.
yeah, it's just unnecessary.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the thing where it's like, well, I mean, it's not needed, and all we know is that it's probably going to have Ryan Reynolds, I'm on the, like what Dan said, cautiously optimistic, but I have no expectations.
Yeah. I don't know. Just it doesn't feel necessary because what are they going to do? They're going to change the premise, but the premise is still going to be Clue. And then what do you get? You get some extra endings. That's really all it's going to be.
It's a 10-minute movie with 40 different endings.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
oh God. Oh God. I'm having Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers flashbacks.
and that's before the Blu-ray comes out with all the extended features and additional deleted scenes and endings.
Fuck. And we've ruined it. So maybe it shouldn't be rebooted.
I don't think it should be rebooted. The director they got, not only did he direct the 2011 Muppets, but also Muppets Most Wanted, as well as the sequel to Alice in Wonderland, Through the Looking Glass, and the live-action Dora the Explorer.
So he's digressing? Oh shit.
Well put, Dan.
He's definitely doing niche movies.
I mean, we could totally get some other Hasbro movies and give them a chance, like Monopoly the movie, or Connect
Mousetrap.
4, or hell, maybe Jenga the movie.
Mousetrap.
Mousetrap the movie would be great.
Nice.
Candyland would be fun.
Fireball Island.
Oh, Fireball Island, yeah.
Yes.
what?
I don't know
Crossfire?
if that's Hasbro, though.
No, it's not Hasbro for sure. I mean, I don't know.
Plinko.
There's some good movies here.
Betrayal on House
Hi-
Oh my God.
Hi-Ho Cheerio.
An action movie starring The Rock, Hungry Hungry Hippos, the game. The movie.
I think that was like a meme at
That
one
was
point.
a college humor short, I think.
Oh, okay.
Okay, fine. Then Hi Ho Cheerio, the movie.
Shoots and ladders.
Except instead of them being apples, they're
Ooh.
grenades.
Hey, I like where that's going. I don't know. I'm still all the way in on a Jenga movie. I want that more than anything.
I feel like it would just turn into a 9/11 remake.
Oh no.
A World War I Stratego movie.
Oh yes. Let's do that. I like that. I mean, we could do a Risk movie, and it would be like 3 weeks long.
Screw that. Let's do an Axis and Allies movie and make it 2 months long.
Oh no.
Go big or go home, Dan.
Maybe we could do a Twilight Imperium movie.
Hey, that sounds like fun.
No.
Does it? Does it?
I have no idea.
Yes. I've always wanted that board game.
It's so expensive.
It is. It really is.
It's so expensive, and it's very long.
Yes,
And
it
ruins
is.
friendships.
Well, yeah, considering the fact you have to actually plan out economies in the game. I mean, come on. Who doesn't want to sit down and plan out economies in space with their friends at a table over hours?
It's hard enough doing that in a video game.
Oh, but
When you have to do it yourself on
yeah,
paper.
you sit across from your friends and form trade deals and all kinds of fun.
The people who play that game also liked the tests with word problems on math tests.
Yeah, nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't mind those at all. It still sounds like a lot of work.
We think Clue holds up. Think that there's not much need for a reboot.
Correct. I'm of this feeling.
Yes, correct.
Does anyone have any last words before we close this up?
The last word.
Alacrity.
Alacrity's good. Do anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Does
Right, that's a
anyone
word.
have a last set of words that convey a certain feeling and or emotion about the film we were watching this past 2 weeks?
Oh hell no. We've talked this out.
Oh, give it a watch. It's worth a sit down and watch. Put your phone in the microwave so you don't get distracted. And before you put your phone in there, put your popcorn in there. Get some popcorn, sit down, and pay attention to it because it's gonna be a fun time watching go through that. We could talk about it all day long and we still wouldn't be able to hit on everything because it is such a fast pace, such a so many things going on in that movie, just word wise, that there's no way we could cover everything, all the jokes, all the little tropes in this movie.
It's like there are words coming around my head like flames and things happening. And that was Clue. Rewound and rebooted. If you could comment, like, rate, review, subscribe, whatever those things are that people do these days, even share the episode with your friends, your family, the people you will soon murder. But after they subscribe, who also like 80s and 90s movies, we would greatly appreciate it. Now, coming up next week. What? Next week? Aren't we on a 2-week cycle? Yes. Normally.
Joe throwing a wrench.
If you haven't been around here long, it is December coming up.
Yay.
And in December, we shift gears. Sadly, the gear shifting can't involve everyone because stupid pandemics keeping us apart. But coming up is a very Netflix Christmas 2020, where you can sync up the audio to crappy holiday movies and hear the one-time only riff of that movie. We watch them once, we riff them once, and then we put them away and probably never watch them again. And like I said, sadly, we are not all together to do this, so it will still only be me. So if you do not enjoy my whatever I do, you might not enjoy these. I don't know. Give it or take it. Next year we'll be all inoculated. Next year we'll be spending December together, and we'll have 4 holiday movies that we will all riff together and probably laugh at each other more than the movie.
I cannot. There are not words to explain how excited I am about next Christmas.
Same here. I'm pretty stoked.
As opposed to last Christmas.
And I am so sorry, guys, that I really wanted us to do it this year too.
Oh, I know. We can't control this thing.
It would be way too hard to try to get the 4 of us to watch a movie and basically live. We'd end up having to live stream it, and it doesn't work.
It would have, we did not have the mind power or the mechanics to make it happen. So 1 more year of just me, and then we'll have bonus episodes next year too, where we all get together once the shenanigans of the universe are done. But come back in 1 week when we do not rewind and reboot, but we riff. And then come back in January where we will rewind again.
No reboots. Maybe. We don't know.
It's a new year. Things to
New year, new show.
The year of the reboot has come to an end.
I bet a lot of people would love to retry this year.
Oh, yeah.
Christmas time means 2 movies for Joe.
And annoying my wife with them.